Welcome to another episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Trevor Brew, Tommy Morris. It's October. We got some playoff baseball, NFL action in full swing, college football heating up, and a Dallas Cowboy decided that he'd go for a little shoplifting spree after their big win over the Seahawks last night.
Best way
So
I can think of celebrating is to just go steal stuff.
just go steal
Obviously.
some cologne,
Yeah.
right? Just
Cologne and
go steal
underwear.
some worthless stuff
Everybody-
and jeopardize your career.
Unbelievable.
So we'll get to that. But I think we should first start off with some NFL action from this past weekend. The Cowboys are 5-1, and so are your Chargers, Tommy, at 5-1.
San Diego. Superchargers, San Diego. You sing with me or no?
No, I'm not singing.
Sing along team. Tag team.
Teach me how it goes.
You know what? You can look it up for yourself. It's a great song. Probably the best song ever. But go on, continue.
Well, I was about to give you your moment in the spotlight and ask you, you've suffered quite a bit of letdown over the last decade between the Chargers and the Padres. Do you think the Chargers are for real this year, or they've just had a little bit of fortune in this early season?
They've had a little bit of fortune, and it's come in the form of their schedule. If you look at, the last three teams they beat. It's been a joke. They beat Jacksonville, New York Jets, and then the Raiders. You find me three worst teams in the NFL. Maybe the Vikings would challenge for that. I couldn't name three worst teams. I really couldn't. So, what have they really done? It's nice to get off to start like that, but you really have proven nothing. Yes, they beat the Seahawks. I don't think the Seahawks are as good this year as they were last year, but that's neither here nor there. And we'll get to that later with the Cowboys. But, it is nice to get these 5 wins right away. They did not look great at Oakland last week. I think part of that had to do with the fact that Oakland had a bye week and a new coach, so it's kind of hard to prepare for a team that has a new coach coming in to that week. And it's one of those trap games where you look at the schedule, you look at who you're playing, and it's kind of hard to get up for that. So I'll give them a free pass for that. So we'll see what they're really made of against Kansas City at home this week. But I still think this team will not win more than 11 games. I don't think it will happen.
Couple of tough matchups coming up against Kansas City and then at Denver on Thursday Night Football on a short week's rest on the road. But if you look at the next 10 games or so, they're at Miami, another game against Oakland, game against St. Louis. Schedule starts to get a little harder with Baltimore, New England, Denver, San Francisco. Yeah, that's a tough five-game run. But, we saw it with the Chiefs last year. They started out really strong, and although they faltered at the end of the season, they still had enough to get into the playoffs. You got to like where you are compared to years past, but Phillip Rivers, though, who...
Oh, my gosh. He is, and this is not me just saying stuff, he is literally like the best quarterback of all time this year. He has had 5 games in a row with a passer rating over 120. That's never happened in the history of the NFL. Ever. It's never happened. Broke the record this week.
I feel like he and Jake Peavy have got to be related. I feel like at any point in the game, his head could blow off.
His head might explode a couple times, but I tell you what, the guys looked amazing, and for all those people who say he's not mobile and he's slow and he's got a weird delivery and all this junk, he's not athletic. Watch a game. That's all I gotta say, because the way he moves in the pocket, which is a very underrated thing. Not enough people who know football. For people who watch football, they don't really pick up on it, but he is able to elude tacklers in the pocket just as well as anyone else in the league, and to be able to stay in the pocket at the same time and deliver a throw. He is unbelievable. He is a fantastic quarterback, and I think he's the best quarterback in the league right now. I'll say that right now.
Another quarterback who not many people would think would be considered one of the best in the league right now is Tony Romo. He's got the Cowboys at 5-1. They beat Seattle on the road, 30-23, and it would have been a much bigger score-wise win for Dallas had there not been a couple of botched plays on special teams and a blocked punt Dallas had that was returned for a touchdown by the Seahawks, and then they had a muffled fair catch that the Seahawks scored off of. So it could have been a much wider margin of victory for Dallas had those things not happened. Tommy, I think that Dallas, I criticized them in the past. I made a lot of fun of Tony Romo, which I still am going to stand behind that I think Tony Romo will always find a way late in the season when it really comes down to a pressure situation, he'll find a way to fail. But I think you
have no statistical evidence to back that up. But continue.
Okay, I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna have to write an article.
Do it. Because here's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna read the negative ones, or I can read the positive ones. Everyone always does. If you look up quarterbacks, I'm just saying it's the dumbest thing ever.
Let's not do this on air.
Okay.
I'm gonna look back I owe it to you now. At this point, I owe it
Yeah,
to
I'm
you.
legitimately angry about this.
I'm going to look back.
Comment.
I'm going to look back in the statistics because we had this argument before. I'm going to find the times to prove my case, and I'm going to write about it. I'm going to embed the videos.
Do it.
And I'm going to present my case. I'm going to present my case.
Please do it.
It'll actually be my inaugural
take some time out of your day. Yeah.
for our website.
I don't understand. I hear this all the time. It's the stupidest, most bandwagon argument of all time. It is the dumbest, no legs argument.
What's the criteria? What's the criteria for whether we decide if he chokes under pressure or not? Well, how many important games where we decide if the playoffs are on the line, if they have a chance in the playoffs?
No, this is stupid. First of all,
what are you just going to look at fourth quarter comebacks? What is we got to come up with a mutual agreed upon criteria?
I don't know if you can look this up. How many times in the fourth quarter has he lost a team game versus how many times has he come back and won a game? And then compare that to the rest of the league. That
in his career, you want me to look up in his career? I'm not Elias Stapuro.
I know that's what I'm saying.
I'm just a guy who talks about sports. I'm just a guy who talks about sports and pretends I know what I'm talking about.
Right, exactly. So at least give some sort of something to.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is how I want to prove my case.
Okay.
I want to go back and look over Tony Romo's career, and I want to look at the last 4 games of any season, and if they were in playoff contention at that point, how he fared in any game that was close in those 4 games in the fourth quarter.
Do it.
All right.
You will be surprised. If you haven't looked this up yet, you will be very surprised. So
I also want to include the playoffs. I'm including the playoffs as well.
That is fine. They haven't played in the playoffs that often. But what I'm saying is, if you have not looked this up before, because I have, you will be very shocked to find out that he's actually.
You're going to get a case study on Tony Romo's.
I have looked at
performance down the stretch
so many times I can almost rally off the numbers off the top of my head.
All right. Anyways, getting back to the actual point, because now that this is on air, I have to do this.
Do it.
But I think the Cowboys, what I was getting to, are more legit than ever, and it's because they are playing the way teams have been successful the last few years in the NFL. The way the Niners and the Seahawks completely dominate games by having an amazing offensive line, running it down your throat, not giving teams the chance to win time of possession. And once you have that all, then bringing out the passing game, using a sturdy defense, which the Cowboys defense has looked a lot better this year under Rod Marinelli compared to Monty Kiffin's just abysmal disaster of a job last year. Wait, was that last year or 2 years ago? That might have been 2 years.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was. But Rod Marinelli's turned things around. Either way, he's turned things around. And that's the formula for success of the NFL. And you watch the way the Cowboys dismantled the Seahawks on the road. They ran it down their throats. DeMarco Murray is having a career year, but I don't think that's DeMarco Murray's the number 1 back in the NFL. You look at that offensive line, how much they've invested in that offensive line, the amount of draft picks and resources they put into that thing, that is why they're dominating. And it hurts me to try to give Jerry Jones any type of credit for being the GM that he is, but they've built quite the offensive line that rivals any in the league right now, and that's why DeMarco Murray's having so much success. I got to give some credit to DeMarco Murray, but at the end of the day, it's not like you see this type of output for his career until this year.
I think DeMarco Murray's been playing really well. I also think that they found a nice little target in Terrence Williams. And take a look at, by the way, I don't know if you pay attention to this, but when Robert Griffin was at Baylor, do you realize his wide receivers were Josh Gordon, Terrence Williams, and Kendall Wright?
I did not know that.
That is insane.
That wasn't his final year at Baylor. That was spread out over time, correct?
Well, they're all within one class. I think there may be 1 or 2.
What I'm saying is, did he have those 3 receivers on the field at the same time?
I think his second to last season they were all there, and then I can't remember which one graduated first, but they were all there at the same time for a little bit at least.
There you go, Tommy. That's a hell of a stat.
I know. I think Terrence Williams was the youngest, and the other 2 left at the same time.
If we look at the Cowboys' schedule going forward, I mean, they got a game at New York, which should be a winnable game, or home versus New York. I guess at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium lately, that's not exactly a home game. Home versus Washington, who's been a joke. Big game will be home versus Arizona, at Jacksonville, their bye week, at New York. I mean, we could see this team easily being 9-2, 10-1 come mid-November.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I think that they will finally make the playoffs, which will be good for them. But, it's – again, how much does it really matter right now?
You know what's going to be a great game, though, is Thanksgiving. It's Dallas, Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, those are two teams that have great records right now that I think will kind of fall flat in the playoffs. I liken them a lot to the Chiefs last year. I think these are two teams that deserve to make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll do well. They just.
But see, this is the only reason why I'm starting to believe more in the Cowboys is because I believe so much in a strong offensive line, steady defense, and that dictating the outcome of the game. And they have, I think, hands down the best offensive line in football right now. And that's the only reason why I think the Cowboys can stick around. I don't think the Eagles have what it takes to win in the playoffs. I think it's going to come down. I know you hate on the Niners, but I think it's going to come down to the Niners or Seahawks again, just because those are teams that are built for the long haul, built for the playoffs. You've been pretty critical of the Niners and Jim Harbaugh talking about how this is going to be the season they don't make the playoffs. But look what they're doing right now. They're missing half the starters on their team. They're missing right now, and they're still figuring out a way to win games.
Playing?
I mean, they beat the Eagles, who were undefeated. They beat the Chiefs. They beat a Rams team that's never easy in division game. We'll see what happens next Sunday against the Broncos, but they're missing half their team, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the reason why I thought they were not going to have a good year. I thought that was a big part of it.
So if they could beat the Broncos without Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Aldon Smith, half their secondary, all replacements from last year, a completely crippled defense, you got to start giving Jim Harbaugh a little credit. I'm going to make you do it on air if that happens.
I never really said that Jim Harbaugh was a bad coach. I said that people are sick of his shtick, which they are. I mean, they're going to fire him because of his.
You think they're going to fire? You think they're going to fire the guy if he's hoisting a Super Bowl trophy for them at the end of the year?
Wouldn't I mean? I was no.
Tommy, first of all, let me just correct you. They're not going to fire him. If it comes down to it, they'll trade him, a la John Gruden, for a bunch of picks or something like that. There's no way they're firing that guy.
Okay, fine. Maybe he will not be the coach next year. Is what I'm trying to say. Fine. Maybe they don't fire him. Maybe they get rid of him somehow.
But the reason that I think there's such a big flaw with this whole debate about Jim Harbaugh and all this stuff going on with the 49ers, I'm not saying he's not a prick. I'm not saying that he doesn't rub people the wrong way. I'm not arguing any of that. But the way he's been able to get this team to win games over the last 3 years, it's pretty much like any player other than maybe Colin Kaepernick is dispensable. Not to win a Super Bowl, but over long periods of time. I mean, Navarro Bowman is arguably the best linebacker in the NFL. Aldon Smith is up there with J.J. Watt as probably the best outside linebacker D lineman in the NFL. You could make the argument about a bunch of other players on their team that they haven't had. They're missing all 4 of their all-pros from last season for extended periods of time, and it's like nothing's happened. So that's where I think people need to realize it doesn't matter if Jim Harbaugh comes off the wrong way or if he's a huge dick. They win games with him, and there's probably 25 other teams in the league that would come begging for him if they thought.
But that doesn't change the fact that it's not like it's new information that he's a good coach. Everyone knows he's a good coach. That's not the point. The point is they're sick. But
I think people are starting to forget that. If you think about the front office trading him, then they obviously, even if they think he's a good coach, they think they could win without him. They don't value him high enough that they think if they want to trade him. That's my point. If the front office decides they're going to trade Jim Harbaugh at the end of the season, that means that they've decided that Trent Baalke and the players they have can perform just as well without Harbaugh. And look at the Niners the years before they had Jim Harbaugh. They had a very similar roster to what they had when Jim Harbaugh took them to an NFC Championship game in 2011. They had a mockery of a coach in Mike Singletary, guys pulling down his pants, spanking his ass, talking about how that's how they're playing at halftime of his first game as a coach. Guy's a nutcase. That's what happens when you have a great athletes and you don't have anyone who knows how to coach them.
Whatever. I mean, this is not an argument I'm going to win, but all I'm saying is unless he wins a Super Bowl, they will find a way to fire him. I saw it happen in San Diego with Marty Schottenheimer, where the team went it was like 14-2 or something like that, and they fired him anyway. If the management does not like the guy, they will fire him. They will find a way to fire him. Trust me, they will. Or they will trade him like you're suggesting. But he will not, unless he wins the Super Bowl, he will not be there next year. That's all.
Tommy, the thing I think is happening here, though, is I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I'm more just disagreeing with the notion that, the front office starts getting arrogant at the fact that they think they built all the, they drafted all these guys. The organization's in a good place now. They don't need him. You start getting arrogant. People's egos get in the way. And just like you said with Schottenheimer in San Diego, and then suddenly they get the guy out of there and the next guy who comes in suddenly, can't necessarily execute to what you had with Harbaugh before. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you this. Well, what if every player, maybe not every player, but multiple players come into your office and you're the general manager and say, we do not want to play for this guy anymore. We will not resign with this team.
I don't think that's the case.
You don't think that's the case?
I think most of the reports that are coming out right now about players that are disgruntled and stuff are mostly BS. And I think that any stuff that is true right now is coming from players like LeMichael James, who had no playing time and were disgruntled with their situation and aren't key players on the team. And you're going to find that on every team. People who are getting to play time, they think they deserve second, third stringers who are going to cause a fit because of this type of stuff. You'll find that on any team.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a higher instance with Harbaugh, and it's not just with the Niners. I mean, he had a similar problem with Stanford. The guys didn't like him. I mean, he won, so they dealt with it, but the players didn't like him. Maybe the exception of Andrew Luck, no one really liked the guy. So it runs its course. It really does. I mean, coaches' words you can only say the same thing over and over and over, especially if you're a guy like Harbaugh who really just gets in players' faces. I think at some point the guys just get sick of it.
So what happens if they win a Super Bowl?
Then you suck it up and you keep him because you just won a Super Bowl. And you can't really think of any way to justify getting rid of him. But I think that if you have your star players come to you and you're the general manager, and I don't know.
I just don't, Tommy. I don't think that's happening.
Okay, but something is happening to where they have some kind of negative notion towards him. Something is happening. This isn't just coming out of nowhere.
I think we've exhausted the Harbaugh thing. I already don't want to talk about it.
I'm getting angry. Getting angry.
You want to stick with the NFL, Tommy, or you want to move on to baseball?
Maybe jump around to baseball so you can talk about the Giants for a little bit. Let's do that.
Well, the first question I was going to ask is obviously I care because of the Giants, and I know it's becoming old news between the Giants and the Cardinals. But is anyone else watching? Are you watching, Tommy? Do you care at all? Is it more that you just are overseeing the Giants and Cardinals always finding success in the playoffs, or do you literally just not care at all if it's not the Padres?
Here's the thing: baseball is tough to watch. It's a sport that I grew up playing. It's a sport that I grew up watching. It is getting hard to watch. The games are too long, and it's just, frankly, I don't know if my brain is changing or what it is, but it's just getting too boring for me. However, I will say this postseason has been rather entertaining to watch. And I said this after that first wild card game between the A's and the Royals. I actually watched that game first pitch till the final out, which I could not have said. It's been a while since I've done that. So I think this playoff season has been good for baseball because these games are all exciting. We had another overtime game. Not overtime. Jeez, look, I don't even get the terms right. When we start calling them the points instead of runs now.
Because you got football on the mind.
Yeah, we had another extra inning game with the Giants and the Cardinals. I don't know what the record is on extra inning games in a playoff, but it's got to be getting up there. It has been an entertaining postseason. I will give Major League Baseball that. They have done a good job of entertaining me.
But they're still getting killed on the ratings by Thursday Night Football and other stuff going on. Because the reason I ask that is because, obviously I care a lot right now, as a Giants fan. But I don't think I would probably be watching if it weren't for the Giants. Like, I don't remember myself watching game after game last year. And it's a shame because, like you said, a lot of these games have been incredible. I've been watching some of these Royals-Orioles games, and you watched game one of that series, it was insane the way that thing went down. The Royals are an amazing story right now. They haven't lost in the playoffs. And at the same time, though, a lot of the points you make, it's a tough sport to watch. And if you don't have a team in it, what could baseball do to turn things around? That's the big question for me, because these games have been really exciting, but people don't expect every game to be like the games that have happened in this playoffs. It's almost like an aberration that we've had so much good entertainment in such a small sample size of games in these playoffs. So the everyday fan who doesn't have their team in it isn't necessarily going to be watching from innings 1 to 9. They might get lucky and turn it on and see the game in extra innings and catch it for a few minutes, but there's not really that incentive to watch that first 6-7 innings.
I'll agree with you, but here's the thing: if these games are getting a reputation for being exciting, maybe somebody will change their mind. So.
One thing we talked about last week when we had Pedro Moore on the show, he was mentioning how the Dodgers would probably keep Mattingly, and that he didn't think that managers affected that much. Maybe 4 to 5 wins or losses a season. But something we didn't really bring up there that I kind of disagreed with is I think while they don't make up too many
wins... Were you
wins
too scared to say it to his face, Trevor?
No, I wish I had have. It just slipped my mind. I was trying to get the next question ready to go. But thanks for putting me on the spot, Tommy.
I just wanted to make sure, I don't like talking behind people's back, so I just want to make sure that you would feel comfortable saying this in front of Pedro's face, is what I'm saying.
Oh, completely.
Okay, that's all I wanted to check. Continue then.
All I was saying, Tommy, was that I agree with him that it doesn't make too much of a difference during the regular season. But I think it makes a huge difference in the playoffs. And one thing that I forgot to bring up that I wish I had of was that Matt Williams was talking about, the Nationals manager was talking about reasons why he put certain pitchers in the 7th inning or the 9th inning, or why he took out Jordan Zimmerman when he only had 1 out to go and had a complete game shot out of the line, only like a 1 or a 2 hitter, was saying, well, that's how we've been doing it all season long. That's our 9th inning guy. That's our 7th inning guy. But it's different in the playoffs, and you need the ability to pivot quickly and go to a guy you wouldn't normally use because you think, in this situation, I got to go all in. And I think you see the managers that stand out in the playoffs are the ones that get their teams to the next round. And I think there's no better indication, actually, than what's been happening with the Giants and the Cardinals lately, because Bruce Bochy has been getting a lot of credit lately for what a good manager he is. But I actually think he's made some pretty critical mistakes in Game 2 and in Game 3. Just his selection of what pitcher should pitch to who, when he should use pitchers, when he should leave guys in and take them out. And that's one of the things that we didn't really bring up last week, but I think is where managers' value shows up the most, is when you go to someone in the postseason, when not to go to them, what player works, that type of thing. And I know the argument against that could easily be, well, what if he hadn't hit a home run here? Then the manager would be, be heralded as, making a great decision. But that's my opinion, is I think that's truly where it shows through, is in these playoffs.
Here's my thing about, I will agree with Pedro here, because I think that of all the major sports, baseball managers probably affect the game the least. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah.
I think you go NFL head coach has the most impact on a team. Then you go basketball. Then I would say hockey. And then I would say, fourth and finally, baseball. Just because...
Well, see, I was going to... The only argument I was going to have with you is potentially hockey, but I don't feel like I know enough to know how much is tactically being done in crucial situations in hockey. That was going to be the...
Here's my argument for hockey. In hockey, you have to make lines. So you got with 3 or 4 lines. And so that's basically what the manager does once. He comes up with his starting lineup, and then that's it. In hockey, you have to come up with essentially 3 lineups. And you have to figure out a way to manage all that and when to sub lines in and all that kind of stuff. So I would say that they have a tougher task. If you really look at it, the baseball manager, if you took the Giants lineup, or roster, excuse me, and I told you to make a lineup out of it, I bet it would look very similar to the one Bruce Bochy put together. Would you not agree?
But see, I don't think it matters. I'm not talking about the lineup. I'm talking about in-game decisions in late innings in the playoffs. That's the one time I feel like it's critical, and an area where Don Mattingly has done really poorly, an area where we saw Matt Williams make some very questionable decisions. And I completely get the other side of the argument. Well, what if this didn't happen, that he would have never been criticized? But I think these are the situations where we've seen, like, in my opinion, the reason the Giants have won these last 2 World Series, I mean, obviously there's been great pitching and great defense, but the right moves have been made at the right time. And in the last 2 games where the Giants almost lost today, and they lost in Game 2, Bochy made some really questionable decisions for the first time in quite some time, where he put in Hunter Strickland, who's got blown up by Bryce Harper a couple of times, or I think it was 3 times in the opening series, and he got blown up by Matt Adams in Game 2, and it was the type of thing where, like, why are you putting this guy back in it? He was running, he was gambling so he could save some relievers for later in the game. But I really think that's where managers show their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to playoff baseball, and what type of risks and, calculated risks and tactical moves they're going to make. That's where I see the value of a manager. I know it's not it's a very small area when you compare it to what a coach does in football or basketball or in hockey or that type of stuff, like throughout a whole season, but it still matters to win a championship.
No, I'm saying it matters a little bit, but I'll agree with Pedro where it's a handful of games different, and that includes the playoffs. I mean, there's not. Yeah,
but in the playoffs, a handful of games is literally the difference.
No,
between
I'm saying in playoffs maybe 1 or 2 games, maybe.
So if the Dodgers tactically play, potentially pulling Kershaw or leaving him, something like that, they might be in the NLCS right now.
Yeah, but they also might lose Game 5.
That's true too. I'm just saying this is an area where I think the one area where you do see the value of a manager is the playoffs.
I think I will give you it is a bigger impact in the playoffs for managers because they make a lot more decisions because it's a do or die situation. Whereas in the regular season, it's like we still got 161. Who cares? But not who cares. But you know what I mean. You'll get it next time. There is no next time really in the playoffs. So I'll give you that. But I think if you I don't. This is a getting nowhere argument. But I will say. Yeah. I agree with Pedro as long as say. And I think.
Oh man.
What?
I think it might be time to address our little shoplifting friend.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Kind of skipped over him a little bit.
I know. Well, I was trying to go soft on him, but I think it's time.
Yeah, I mean, boy. So the Cowboys finally have a nice little thing going. Beat the Seahawks. And then Joseph Randle decides he needs cologne and underwear. He just needs it super badly. So he's going to go ahead and steal it. And
I just don't understand these type of things. Like, Jameis Winston, why are you stealing crab legs? What, and this guy, what is going on in your head? What compels you to make a decision like this? Are you not making enough money that you can't afford the cologne? Do you think maybe I'll just jeopardize my whole career so I can smell good when I go and take this?
Yeah, he went to Dillard's. How often have you been to Dillard's?
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's a store he went to.
Well, yeah, I thought you were going to explain to me what the store was.
No, I mean it's just it's a pretty normal store.
I think is it a national store?
Yeah.
You looking it up right now?
No, it's very similar to. It's kind of like a Nordstrom, but a little less pricey. It's like a above Macy's, but below Nordstrom is where I put it.
What's the point of talking about the store?
Well, the point is this: it makes the story even more ridiculous. It's not like he was shoplifting high-end merchandise or like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of fine clothing and jewelry. He was literally stealing underwear and cologne. It's such a stupid thing to do. It is hard. It's hard to put yourself in a guy like that shoes because I don't know if this is something he used to do when he was a kid. Just going to Dillard's and I guess for a kid that kind of store might be a little more upscale. A Dillard's might be some nice underwear. But when you're in the NFL, first of all, I have a tough time believing they don't have some kind of compression short that he can just take from the team locker room. Would you not think that was a thing? And I'd also be shocked if they didn't have some kind of cologne just hanging around the locker room too. I mean, they definitely have deodorant. So is that not up to his standards? I don't know. I just can't believe that a guy in the NFL would think, you got a target on your back, man. Everyone knows who you are. But the second you walk in the store, I don't care if you're the second string running back or the starting quarterback, people are generally going to know who you are, especially if you play for the Dallas Cowboys, where everyone knows who all those guys are throughout the whole state. So I cannot believe that someone would even think to do that. It's not a smooth move, Joseph Randle.
I was trying to think of a different angle to talk about this story, and I came to the conclusion that I have absolutely no angle. I just...
You have no angle on this? You can't defend his action? Maybe he thought it was a small sum.
I'm trying really hard.
He plays for the Cowboys. Maybe they'll just give it to him for free. It's nice enough for him to be in the store anyway. Maybe he'll tweet about it, so it'll be even.
Okay, all right, I got it. Maybe he thought that it was like one of those sample giveaways, like the free little swab of the colognes.
Yeah, it's a take one free and get one free.
And then maybe he was trying on some new underwear and just forgot to take them off.
Very possible. All these things are very possible. We don't know.
I think I did a pretty good job there.
Yeah, maybe we don't know the details. Maybe he was just trying on some underwear, forgot he was wearing them, walked out of the store with a sample of cologne.
he was wearing the. Wait, no, actually, you were going with a better story here. I cut you off.
Yeah. So we had one of those mini bottles of cologne that he obviously thought was a sample, but it was actually travel size, and it was one of their higher end colognes.
But he has such big hands that he has such big hands that the regular size bottle of cologne seemed like it was the sample size.
Right. I mean, it's just not that ridiculous to think that the sample size might be the same as the travel size. I mean, travel sizes do look like sample sizes. So you know what? Now that I think about it, I totally understand. I totally get it. He had no idea.
The major thing that we have to figure out to back up our theory is as long as he only had one bottle of cologne and one pair of underwear, I think our story sticks.
Even if he had 2 bottles of cologne, it's the underwear that's going to cause it. If it was more than one pair of underwear,
how many pairs of underwear did Joseph Randle take with him?
I don't know. That will be the kicker right there. Did Joseph Randle take 1 or 2 pairs of underwear? That's when we'll know just how malicious this act was. In my opinion.
Maybe he was getting a bottle for Jameson Winston.
Yeah, well, Jameis is, he might be making enough money right now on the side anyway. I don't think he needs someone to steal bottles of cologne from him anymore. I cannot believe, and we'll go to Jameis Winston real quick, that he was even quoted as saying, if I have Johnny Manziel disease or something along the lines of that, hit me in the face. And he's literally done, if this is true, exactly what Johnny Manziel did. Exactly. I cannot believe it. That is crazy. I don't know, man.
Sorry, you lost me for a second. I was just trying to figure out how many bottles he took or how much underwear he was wearing.
No, they have that information hidden.
That came out kind of weird.
What came out kind of weird?
Trying to figure out how much underwear he was wearing.
Yeah, you got to figure out how much underwear a guy's wearing. I saw Jerome Bettis today saying, worst case scenario, you can get away with 1 or 2 days without underwear if it's really that bad.
Is that what he said?
It's what he said on TV today. If it's an emergency situation, you can
the
get
thing
away.
you gotta wonder if a guy's willing to say that on TV. It's probably you know in American Pie where they're talking about how if a guy says he slept with 3 girls, he probably slept with 1. If a girl says she slept with 1 guy, it's probably like 3 or 4.
Right. So he was probably going on a week's worth of not wearing any underwear while
I'm glad you're following my lot. If he's willing to say that a couple of days without a fresh pair of underwear, I'm thinking the bus might have gone weeks at a time without anything under his pants.
And here's the thing too. I mean, the bus is not a little guy. I mean, I think if you're a smaller, more slender guy, you can get away with that. But if you're a big dude,
yeah, he probably sweats a lot.
Extra,
like inner thighs and legs.
Oh yeah, you need some extra, layers on there. You can't
I wonder if he washed his pants more to make up for the fact he wasn't wearing underwear, or if it was just like a full. I don't know.
I highly doubt it. I mean, if you don't have enough time to clean a small garment like underwear, a full pant.
Who's Jerome Bettis work for? Did he just say that out of nowhere?
ESPN. He was on First Take today. They were talking about this situation here.
Do you have the audio of that?
I can try and find it. I saw it while I was on the elliptical this morning. Yeah, that's right. I go on the elliptical. A lot of men go on ellipticals, Trevor. What?
That's why you call yourself the nurse.
Well, it's the most masculine cardio machine you can go on, I would say.
I don't really get it.
What do you mean you don't get it? It's like you're running, except for there's no wear and tear on your knees. It's genius.
Really?
It's the same motion. Yeah, it's great. It's a fantastic machine.
I think in my head I'm thinking of the Stairmaster.
No, the Stairmaster's garbage. The Stairmaster's one of the stupidest machines. That thing looks like hell. Like literally, if you were to go to hell, that's what they make you do: is climb upstairs. That never.
Oh, I know what the elliptical is, but this thing looks like a bike. Oh no, this doesn't look like a bike.
It is kind of like a bike that you stand on.
But it has like a weird sliding motion.
It does, but it's effective, very effective, and you can speed up and slow down. It's great. It's a fantastic piece of machinery. Highly recommend it.
I'm looking at it right now, but it looks like every time I see someone on it, looks like they're power walking.
Yeah, that's essentially what you're doing. I mean, you can get a good little sweat going though. So I'm very pro elliptical. But anyway,
I think it looks kind of whack.
Bottom line, I saw that while I was on the elliptical. That's the moral story.
Why did you find the audio clip now that we just wasted 30 seconds talking about elliptical?
Is that what I was supposed to be doing?
Yeah, we just talked about this.
I thought, a guy like me needs some pretty specific instructions. He can't just be throwing me hints.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what I said was, hey, you want to look up that audio clip?
Oh, I should have said no then.
And then you said, oh yeah, I could do I could see if I could find it.
Okay, well now it's a whole thing.
I don't get how
What?
the elliptical's like the motion's supposed to be the same as running. It looks like you're power walking. I'm looking at these. I'm gonna try to look at a video of someone on the elliptical.
I cannot find this. Can't find it.
You can't find it?
No.
I'm watching elliptical workouts on YouTube right now.
Why would you do that? It's a very boring thing to watch.
Wait, here we go.
Today we're in Equinox.
Hold on.
Here to show us her tips and tricks.
Can you hear it, Tommy?
What to do next time you're in the gym.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Hold on. Just hold on.
What I want you to start doing.
Oh my God!
Start moving.
What?
This is so weird.
Quick start button for me, that green button.
This is bizarre.
Well, now I got an echo.
No, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, but I can hear me too.
Hold on. Hold on a second. Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
So, I searched for a video of an elliptical workout. And the first video that comes up is on like Pop Sugar Fitness, like workout tips and tricks. And they're like, oh yeah, we're at some Equinox. And then they go to it, and it's this like trainer that I see every day there who's teaching this girl how to use the elliptical. It's got 110,000 views. I just got like alarmed. It was weird.
Well, maybe you should listen to that guy, and he'll probably tell you it's the most masculine thing you can do at the gym is ride the elliptical.
It's a girl. There's two girls.
Oh.
Can you hear it?
Well, it's very... some girls do men's exercises, so that's probably what that is. If I had to guess.
What I don't get is like what you're doing with the arms.
The arms? I mean, what do you do with your arms when you run? You pump your arms, man.
But it looks like... I don't know. It just looks weird.
Exercise.
It looks like you're power walking.
It's like a
It looks
treadmill
really,
without the
Tommy,
fear
they're
of
like
falling
speeding
off.
up right now. It looks really weird.
Yeah, they're going fast, man. They're cranking on. Have you never seen someone on this thing? Jeez.
Yeah, it just looks weird.
It's like
I can't
the most
believe
popular
you use
exercise in the gym.
Take a video of you using the elliptical.
Why would I ever do that?
Because it looks goofy. I want to see you do it.
I've been told I look like a maniac when I'm on that thing.
Take a video.
Do you know how I do the elliptical normally? I normally do it during a sporting event. I'm divulging deep into my personal files here. So
homework for this week. I'm gonna do the Tony Romo research. You're gonna take a video running on the elliptical.
Okay. Well, do you want me to tell you how I do it, and then you can just kind of visualize it, and then I won't have to do it?
No. I just want you to do the video.
Okay. Well, I'll explain it anyway. This is.
No. I don't care. I wanted you to take the video.
Well, okay, fine. It would have been. Whatever. Good. I don't want to share that information anyway. I'm glad you let me off the hook there.
What? You started mumbling.
I said I didn't want to share that information anyway. I'm glad you let me off the hook there.
But you're gonna do a step-by-step video of you on the elliptical, right?
No, it'll just be maybe 10 seconds. It'll be a Snapchat, and whoever's Snapchat friends with me can see it.
No. I want to put it on our YouTube channel.
Who would watch it?
We'll see, right?
I have a very specific way that I do it, and it's very entertaining.
Please just film a video of you on the elliptical.
If this video gets enough likes, I'll do it. And I'll explain in detail what I'm doing and why I look like a psychopath when I'm on the elliptical. Because there's a very good reason why I do, and it is one of the more genius things I've ever come up with.
Tell us what you do. Tell us what you do. Tell us what you do.
You want to make a video, so I will.
Tell us what you do.
We will set a like number, and if this video hits the amount of likes, then I'll explain how it works, and I'll post a video.
No, just come on. You're ruining it.
No? If you can get enough people to like this video, then I will do it. Deal?
All right. Yeah, it's a deal.
Should we get out of here?
You didn't say the amount of likes.
We have to mutually agree on it. You throw it. We'll do it arbitration style. You throw out a number. I'll throw out a number.
Okay, on the count of 3.
Actually, we don't have a third party. These won't work. But whatever. Okay, count of 3. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 100.
3.
3. So
Yeah.
you and then 2 accounts that you make up can like this thing and then I have to post a video? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'll meet you halfway.
All right, 10.
That's not halfway. I said 100.
Okay, 50.
50's close enough. Yeah, 50 likes. I'll do it.
Okay, 50 likes.
Good luck.
All right. See you on the elliptical machine, man.
No, you won't.
50 likes. We have a deal, correct?
Deal.
You're
Virtual shaking on right now.
shaking on this, correct?
Say shake on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Shake.
Shake.
All right.
Okay.
Shake on it.
Deal.
Stupid deal for you.
Can't wait for next week.
All right, well, let's get out of here, and then maybe if you're lucky, you'll get what you want.
All right, sign off, Tommy.
For Trevor Baru.
You said my name.
You're supposed to say he's Tommy Morris. It's cute.
You're supposed to sign off. You're supposed to sign off for both of us.
Fine.
I introed the
I'm
show.
Tommy Morris for
might as
Trevor
well.
Baru. All right, here we go. I'm doing it. You ready? I'm Tommy Morris for Trevor Baru. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week where I will not be riding an elliptical because I do that in my private time.
Peace.
Peace.